The United Kingdom has a new ambassador to the Holy See. Early last month, Christopher John Trott presented his credentials to the Holy Father. Ambassador Trott has been a British diplomat since 1991. His most recent roles have focused on Sudan and South Sudan. He replaces Sally Axworthy, a frequent guest on EWTN News Nightly. And Ambassador Trott joins us now from Rome. Mr. Ambassador, congratulations on the post, and thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us how your first few weeks and the job have gone, and what was it like meeting Pope Francis?
Meeting the Pope was just an extraordinary experience, and he has a very public profile. But you have no real idea of what it's going to be like to meet somebody like that with his kind of moral leadership and global leadership. So it was a real honor for me to be able to meet him. I have had an extraordinary month since I arrived here. Normally, when you arrive as an ambassador, you have time to sort of work yourself into the job. But we were sponsoring a big climate-focused event at the beginning of October that had been set up by my predecessor, who I think was often on your show. And so I was thrown into the deep end, agreeing the details of that climate event and then having the extraordinary privilege of being there at the event itself.
Well, it sounds so exciting. And again, congratulations. I understand that your most recent posts were in Sudan and South Sudan. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, and also how the peace process is going in South Sudan?
Very happily. Initially, I was the UK envoy for Sudan and South Sudan, so I was working in support of the peace processes, both the ones that were looking at Khartoum and the ones that were looking at Juba. And I was part of a small group of international partners, including the US and Norway, who were accompanying the parties as they sought to find peace. I was present at the signing of the peace agreement in 2018 in September in Addis Ababa for South Sudan. And then following that, I was appointed to be the British ambassador to South Sudan. So I stopped being responsible for Sudan and moved on to just South Sudan. And I have to say that I was quite frustrated in that role, because I had hoped becoming ambassador after the signing of the peace agreement would allow me to see progress being made on the ground. I had been assured by the parties that that was what they wanted to do too. But in the 2 years that I was there as ambassador, we saw very little progress being made. And we haven't actually yet seen the completion of the tasks that were anticipated in the first 8 months after the signing of the agreement.
And before I let you go, I want to go back to your current role right now. What events does the UK Embassy to the Holy See have planned in the coming weeks? What can you tell us about that? And also, what are your goals in this new post?
Well, I think that, our focus at the moment is very much on the climate change conference in November in Glasgow. And although the Holy Father himself is not travelling to Glasgow, Cardinal Parolin will be going and representing the Vatican at that event. What we really want to see is a successful agreement reached in the climate negotiations in Glasgow. Beyond that, I think that the reason that I wanted to come here and do this job is that I've spent the last 15 years working across the African continent. And I think that some of my experience is of interest to the Vatican and to His Holiness the Pope as well, because obviously the focus of the Vatican, or one of the main focuses of the Vatican right now, is on the global south, and particular on Africa. The Holy Father talks about conflicts in Africa. He talks about the humanitarian crisis. He talks about poverty. He talks about the impact of climate change on the most vulnerable countries. And all of that stuff I have sort of experienced in real life, if you like. And so continuing a dialogue with the Vatican about its work on the health sector, its work in education, its work in resolving conflicts, is all things that I hope to be able to take forward while I'm here as British ambassador to the Vatican.
Well, Ambassador, thank you so much for your time again, and congratulations. We appreciate you talking to us. Ambassador Christopher John Trott.
Thank you, Tracy.
UK Ambassador to the Holy See. Thank you.
Thank you.